Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Coach Yılmaz from Turkey.
Hello, Isaac. How are you?
So, Coach Yılmaz has a lot of experience. So, Yılmaz, you've coached across Turkey, Portugal, Spain, and Estonia. And each of these countries has its own distinct footballing culture. What have been the most striking contextual or cultural differences you've encountered in terms of coaching?
Okay. Hello, Isaac. First of all, thank you for this opportunity and invitation and interacting with football people. That has been always a great challenge with me. And like you said, in different contexts, I have been trying to develop my coaching skills and influence the context where I am in all the time. Collaborating with different people is something very huge value for me. And by the way, also the hello to everyone who is watching us in the future also. And I'm Yılmaz Şahin from Turkey, as you mentioned, and I had opportunity to coach in all these different countries and study while I was coaching. Last 5 seasons I have been in Estonia, and before that I had opportunity to work in Portugal, Villarreal, women team in second division. Uh, Beside that, I was conducting my master research on motivation, which also became a book later on. And in Spain and Portugal, it has been a fantastic opportunity for me interacting with great people, great football people, great coaches, great context. And beside that, in Turkey, I had a lot of opportunity, a lot of like experiences in youth football, which also allow me to understand the complexity of the game, and it has been like a very big value. So in terms of your question, what are the contextual differences? And I think it's the biggest thing is to be able to understand the cultural differences. So then things are much more easier and smooth. If you are close, if you are not open-minded, that would be a lot difficult than it could ever been. So for me, when I understand the difference in the cultures, the belief, the past of all these contexts, I started to understand the ways I can create to reach people and express myself, articulate my ideas. Because at the end, even the language is is different. You
Mhm.
have to you
Mhm.
have to accept that. You have to learn the languages like I did in Portugal. I was studying Portuguese. In Spain, I was studying Spanish beside the football. Imagine you are there for football, but you also have to study the language to reach people truly,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
like and not artificially. Otherwise, like I said, if I speak in Turkish, everything is correct for me at that moment. But if I
Mhm.
switch to English, a lot of things needs to be more clearance. I have to be
Mhm.
more clear to articulate
Mhm.
all these things. So it is enriching. It is I mean I can't express my gratitude all the way to these people. Only things have been very positive. I feel very lucky. And maybe you also know that not a lot of Turkish people have opportunity to go to Europe and hang there for many years. So it has been my opportunity, and like I said, I'm grateful for all these experiences who give me the opportunity and who is still giving me opportunities. I hope this answer was correct to reach your question.
No, yes, totally. Especially the languages part. I totally agree with you. When we talk in English, we usually do it in a superficial way. It doesn't get fully to us. So yeah, totally, totally. And now you're in Estonia. So in your current role with JK Tallinna, Kalev under 21s, and your previous post with Haplama, how have you applied your tactical periodization training practically on the pitch?
Mhm. So previous answer and previous questions refer to human connections, because you
Mhm.
have to build the trust and you have to build on that trust. And in this experience, when I look at back, I'm great. I'm grateful that I didn't demand the way I have been learning and the way I have been thinking that is the way the truth, in terms of the development, in terms of the injury prevention, in terms of training, in terms of the game itself, the game model ideas and everything. So how can I articulate my thoughts on this question is like this basically. When I went to Estonia, I started to work in this club, and then I see that things have been doing like differently. Things they have seen the world with a different lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very lucky, very, very lucky. I was working with former U18 national team coach Ala Warenburg,
Okay.
who is now first team head coach in our team, uh,
Okay.
Tallinna Kalev. So he has been a very big help. I can tell if he wasn't there, it could be worse. So thanks to his support, I have again see the ways how can I reach and how can I implement the methodological knowledge into this context. So, and I did something throughout the years for 4 years, and I can also objectively see the things in this way that I didn't have any injuries. So now I am talking about the result. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but the result, in a sense, I keep the people safe there. So that
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
injury, no muscle injury, zero. And for example, in the youth implementation, from beside first team, I have a very big experiment with the methodology. Beside the first team, with the youth team from U13 to U15, every year we progress the previous best in the context, and we also upgrade the level of Estonian context. So this team, at the end, we were like 17, or it's a very, very small context. So what I'm trying to explain here, even if you don't have a source, a big source, this methodology helped me to empower the source what we have there without
Mm-hmm.
any injury risk. Uh, risk always there, of course, but the less possibilities of injuries and maximum result. In Tallinna Kalev, it has been different, because when I went there, I heard people are talking about tactical periodization, but in a different way. And again, this is not a problem, because most of the time we are looking for the solution, and we are also trying to identify the problems, what kind of problems we have, and what kind of
Mm-hmm.
solutions we can develop from that moment, from that specific moment, with the specific context, with specific players. And of course, I identify a lot of minuses in the way how we see football, how we play. But the thing is that a lot of hardworking people over there, and with the best knowledge, I have been trying to help and trying to progress. And again, when we look back, all the analysis, all the results, all the implementation of the steps for my side has been successfully done, and we are almost end of the season. We have very, very young team, so it's another point that if you have a clear vision at the club, that first our youth players, first our young players, then things are more or less easier, because we have time to trust, we have time to wait. Otherwise, in
Mm-hmm.
football, this is a little bit unpredictable. You don't have a lot of time to implement
Mm-hmm.
and wait for the result. So I'm very lucky that I had this opportunity, and more or less we keep progressing from that point.
Okay, yeah, that sounds very interesting. I think it comes from all your different experiences in all the countries. That's great. So yeah, you do see a lot of different things being done. Yeah. So my third question.
I can also mention that maybe I can also mention this one because I believe it's useful that many of this context I have struggled in terms of methodological side. I have
Mm-hmm.
struggled that it's it is effect of the social medias and everything, this copy paste tendency,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that a little bit maybe also people have struggled with me because I was thinking that I will slowly create players thinking, not as a coach, I will demand from them without
Mm-hmm.
seeing their unique capabilities, unique qualities,
Mm-hmm.
bringing some we called they called a game model like in different contexts, you can see it everywhere. There are very big debates. What is the game model? How do you implement this? How do you develop this? How do you overview it? How do you enhance it? Like, and what I believe and what I give the players as very big freedom. And because at the end, the problems occurring during the game, during the training situations and everything, players must be able to overcome with their unique capabilities, not the way I think is the correct. So because I hear some like directors, and okay, it's very good intention, but for instance, I heard someone that's saying we will cancel the goal if he score a goal not the way we want. So you see the danger here. Like it is my concern while I have been implementing my coaching philosophy, coaching methodologies, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. It has been my biggest concern. I always keep telling my players they are the one who should make decisions. So please keep. You can also like now imagine more or less the people also talk about how do we develop decision makers, more better
Mm-hmm.
players. So this is the base actually that in this context is that I trusted more before I give them
Mm-hmm.
something, and I wait for them to discover and find the correct solution with their unique qualities. So I think also players like this. It goes
Mm-hmm.
in a very positive way. It's a little bit different, I know, but this methodology allow me to create this context step by step, empower their unique qualities to get to get the point where we want to get. So this is basically a little add from me in terms of this.
No, that sounds very human. The way you relate to your players, you're trying to be as human as possible, and also not just thinking of the results, but also empowering them, developing them as players for
Yes.
the future. Not
We
just
have to
telling.
care. We have to care about them, and we have to care about them more than we think we have to give them. Because at the end,
Mhm.
if they feel it, no way you will get the result because I did it. I did with my players. If you trust, if you give them constructions like clear principles, simple to make the things simpler, we don't have to put 100 principles to be able to express our ideas. I can give two principles while attacking. I can give two principles while defending. At the end, we want to win the game objectively. If we talk.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. And as someone who's completed multiple master's degrees and studied under respected figures like Jorge Correis, Professor Vitor Frade, and Raymond Verheyen, how do you balance theory and academic methodology with the real world challenges in
Mhm.
football?
Yes, when I was thinking about our interview, I was thinking that maybe I should prepare something to be more clear. And I was thinking, no way, I have to be myself first because and I can also demonstrate what kind of coach I am. So at the moment, it's a context for me to be able to make mistakes. So like I want from my players. I want to make them. I want to give them a design the context to allow them to make mistakes. So I have to identify. As a coach, I think the coaching art is hidden in this skill, being able to identify the problems. Later, you can work on it. So right now, when you ask these questions, these come to my mind. As a coach, I have to be able to identify my errors because
Mhm.
also, like I mentioned, English is in a different world that I'm trying to express myself. Very less Turkish coaches are doing it, by the way. So, but then when you say these names, and this is like these names are tools for me identify and confirm if it's correct or wrong. Like George Reis is is a fantastic human being. For me, he was my tutor in and out of the master program. He was supporting me 100%. And how great he was dealing with me, I was so amazed. And today, where I come now, I had black and whites before him. I could easily say, this is white, no, this is like a black, this is correct, we go from this way. But then I have now curiosity, why this guy thinks this is orange, for example. We talk about white and black, but why this guy talks about orange? Okay, it must be something there, because how George like interacted with me, and still he's helping me a lot. It's perfect. And let's go like hierarchically, and then I can talk about Raymond Verheyen. Very long time, very long time. And today, when I talk, when I read it all his books, I met him several times, and the way he interact is very restricted. You know, it's like because he says himself he's a free man, so he can be restricted. His rules, his word, and but methodology is very clear. And there are some differences between the methodologies that you have to be understand. But another thing, what I learned from tactical periodization, to be able to identify one thing, if this thing is correct or not, you have to be aware of two different things to compare, to confirm. So
Mhm.
at the end, the moment what I need the most, I met with Professor Vitor Frat, thanks to his master program. And then now I had tool, thanks to Professor Vitor Frat. So it is very dangerous also in the same time that as a coach, you have tools to identify and to confirm wrong or right.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and I can collect all these things. Beside all these things, I like ecological dynamics, hugely growing at the moment, very great names over there. And then now you can only empower your coaching skills, but for what? For your players, for your teams, wherever you work, whoever, like, for who you work, you have to show these skills. So when you said how these methodologies shape my, or how, what kind of challenges this give, it gives difficulties in one hand, that you are starting to become more aware of things like injury prevention. Nowadays, people sell some things as injury prevention, but then you know the things. And another thing, now people, like, I hope it's not in a wrong way goes my explanation, because wrong or right, we are able to get result.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
if he get result with wrong, I don't have to say, okay, he is right because he win. But this is not correct. Today I'm not talking about Estonian Turkish level. Imagine like Real Madrid, like huge teams are giving a lot of injuries, but nobody is able to question them. So right now, thanks to these methodologies, I have some question marks at least. But
Mhm.
these question marks are not for me, for the players. These are like
Mhm.
$1 million, like these budgets are crazy. But I'm thinking about this. If one big club give injury, I start to think, oh my God, what happened now? And all these big names, these big professors, and they have also concerns about this. But at the end, even everyone is doing wrong things, someone will get the result. But
Mhm.
but what is your tool? What is your tool? What is your confirmation? How do you confirm in life, in this complex environment? How do you, in different contexts, different beliefs? It can be like very like big. And I want to give you one more example on this topic. I again listen one podcast, and then one director is saying, "Look, we have a methodology. We have 60 pages." I said, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
Mhm.
Like he says, 60 pages is something. And I give you an example. For me, Professor Victor Prat, when he come, and again, like I'm not making any commercial. I'm being myself and trying to explain my thoughts, my ideas. Victor Fraud came. Professor Victor Fraud, if you put this name, he can enter everywhere with his knowledge, with his
Mhm.
background, everything.
Mhm.
He can do everything. He comes, he started to put his books on table. But. A lot of books. And when he started speaking, talking about Bobby Robson, Jose Mourinho, Jorge Jesus, all while he's talking, he gives examples, he gives information, knowledge, and open one book and read from there. And then I start, oh my God, yes, this is the methodology I can trust. This is the way I can trust because at the end, like Ryman said, it's not what I think, not but, like we speak, but, it's like this because we don't have enough knowledge to explain simply. What is football? Football is this, finished. Then all other things, what you are trying to express, explain, if you start speaking about other things, it just doesn't make sense. In
Mhm.
Raymond way, it's even more restricted. And like I said today, if I get an invitation from X team, if I talk with about X coach, I don't say, I think player youth development, we have to let them be free. We have to give them freedom. We have to let them decide, not make them shape like in the same shape, not
Mhm.
respecting the uniqueness of this capacity of the player. Otherwise, we are not able to develop Messi, Neymar, this kind of
Mhm.
players.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then if he says, no, 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 we have to give them a lot of reputation, isolated, we have to do this. Then I said, look, do you have any reference on this transfer of the players? I ask question again. And if he gives me answer, then I will look because the methodology tells me to be curious. I'm curious. I will look. And at the end, again, I have tools to confirm. So this kind of this path of education, and like I said, all this, and now I created a library I will take along here in my brain, but also as an object with me on the tables. Wherever I go, I move them. I move them.
Mhm.
And I heard from one in Estonia that parents are asking about the methodologies, and I asked the director. It's not. I don't want to mention the name, but I asked, "Will you explain?" He said, "No, no, they don't have to know this." But it because it was for me, it's different. Whatever the parents ask, journalists ask, I'm able to explain. Why should I hide? There is nothing to
Mhm.
hide. Books, if you don't trust me as a book, I'm an open book. I will put the book, I will put the knowledge over there, the references, and we can solve the problem. Again, here, I think in football world we need more intellectual people, as Raymond also
Mhm.
mentions about this, and all these people you mentioned these names are very highly respected people, and as a person, as a human beings, when you go and interact with them, you will also understand.
Mhm.
They will shine for sure. And I'm again grateful that from the point I came here today, it's impossible for me. It's a miracle, so that's why I have a very big, very huge respect. And beside that, this respect I want to share with other people, but sometimes people are getting it personally. But who knows me, they know that it's not personal thing. It's the love against football and love against the people that I work with and or I work for. Is basically this is my explanation. And again, you see, if you are becoming if you contact with this kind of people, they also have a lot of excitement about these topics. And when I start
Mhm.
talking about these topics, sometimes I forget that my English is also limited, but I try to explain every detail.
No, but it's perfect. But it's perfect. Yeah, I understood everything. I bet they're very interesting people to meet. from everyone that has met them before. Every coach say they're amazing humans. Um, for young coaches aspiring to follow like a similar international path as yours, what practical advice would you give them to adapting their methods to different countries, different environments, but also staying true to their philosophy?
Mhm. Okay, this is a $1 million question. This is a very good question because, like I said, you know, Isaac, where I came from. Now at the moment I'm in Turkey, by the way, so now I can feel even more that this gratitude is growing, and so also in on social media I saw that this some nations are better than other nations coaches, or some I don't even want to mention the nations, but I think it is very difficult the way we are trying to obtain the visa to work abroad, and these kind of difficulties. We have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of difficulties, and I'm not here to talk about difficulties, but I want to talk more about the solutions again, also as a person. All
Mm-hmm.
these knowledge and other things can be also not accountable for people. They
Mm-hmm.
can say, okay, I don't need this knowledge to be successful, or maybe this person who's hiring you doesn't even have this knowledge, but he doesn't have to have this knowledge. So here's the conflict. So we should not let conflict happen. So how
Mm-hmm.
can we become more clear, more smart? Because at the end, we want to give value. We want to add values as a coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And first step for me, just try to have some nice, friendly, open-minded people. Meet with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I start coaching, I was in USA. I have been traveling around the world, 20 countries, maybe 25, a lot of states in the United States. I have been meeting with people. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
learn interacting with people. Not all the time you are in 100% like very good mood. Not every people
Mm-hmm.
all the time in a good mood, but try to meet with people.
Mm-hmm.
Realize how they live their life, because there are different religions, different beliefs, different languages, different political ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But being human beings first is the first step. So in my case, I met this kind of people, and they showed me the way. It's amazing. One is when I was in La Masia in Barcelona. One is when I was in traveling to United States on the plane. One is my English teacher. Like one older lady from the United States. Like you don't know who will influence your life in a good way. Start
Mm-hmm.
reading books immediately. Different
Mm-hmm.
different authors. And beside that, you we collect these things. You have to be aware of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Context is everything. And as Professor Victor Frat also expressed, coffee milk strategy. If I want person, this example everyone is giving this, but this is very nice thing. Because if person doesn't want to drink coffee, give him coffee with a lot of milk and slowly decrease the amount of milk. One day he will drink coffee. But his coffee is not something bad, but you are introducing him coffee. You are introducing him yourself as a person, Yılmaz Şahin. You are introducing yourself. You are serving people. Another thing is, and then next step we want to take it to next step. And in that point, we can say like, let me think, that a commitment. Yes, you have to commit something. Your commitment, you have to be consistent in your commitment. One
Mm-hmm.
day is again pink, one day is green. It's not the commitment. Be commitment. Show people that you are trustworthy. And
Mm-hmm.
while you are doing this, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your honesty. You have to trust your sincere thoughts or feelings to build trust on other people. If you don't trust yourself, it's difficult. Like I said, I'm not talking about the difficulties there. It's difficult to reach there. Of course, it's difficult. It's difficult also big names. It's difficult for Vitor Pereira. It's difficult for Jose Mourinho. It's difficult for Fatih Terim, or Arda Turan. It's difficult, but but these people are honest and giving more, trusting more, like forgiving and continue. Okay, a lot of or even fighting, but they continue again. They don't say, okay, football is not for me, I quit. No, you have to be consistent in your commitment. And the final thing from my side is the idea of the mentality of never giving up. You have to have a certain character. Look, if we start talking about the methodology, training, the designing context, and principles and formations, it takes years to, maybe not years, but hours to identify some problems. But if you are lack of, if you didn't even realize your personality, like I said, never give up personality, then how can you convince your players? How can you convince, when you meet a sporting director, how can you convince him that he should trust you, that you are the one who care more than who knows? Because at the end, again, people doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So all these strategies have been my strategies. I'm very happy to share with people openly. And like I said, it was my intention. I did a lot of interview in Turkish, in English, by like then they write, but it's also a very good challenge for me, but I'm not afraid of the challenges. It's good if I made any mistake. My name is Yılmaz Şahin. They can contact me. We can clarify things. But all this way, I have grown a lot of concerns, a lot of questions, and like I said, a lot of trust. What took me here, and like football is an art. I said to my players at the end of the match day, I said, football is an art, and we are all artists, and we have to do our art in the best way. What we believe, what is our belief, and what is our feelings are telling us, not somebody is telling us to do. And this is the love of football. Unfortunately, I can't escape from this law, but I'm also very happy. And so, very good questions. Thank you. I feel relieved that I speak like a lot, but I hope it's clear enough.
No, it's very clear, and I really like your attitude. I like your vibe, and I like your openness. So thank you very much, Yılmaz. Thank you very much for this interview, and I hope the best for your career going forward.
Thank you, Isaac. Also for you, I'm always happy to see people with a smile in this business, and I also have I hope you also have a very good success in your business, in your platform. All the best.
Thank you so much, Yılmaz.
Yes, you're welcome.